I'm Jason Carter. Physical optimization defines my life. The day I was born, doctors nearly killed me with medical malpractice. They said I'd never walk. I've been proving them wrong for 35 years. It's easier than you think to obtain super optimal health. I've devoted my life to it, and with my help, you can too. I'm Jason Carter, and this is ENZYMENTAL. And welcome to ENZYMENTAL. I'm Jason Carter, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about celiac disease and overall sensitivity to gluten. So celiac disease is a hereditary autoimmune response to the gluten proteins found in wheat, but they're also found in spelt, camu, rye, triticale, barley, and even possibly oats too. This means that when a person with celiac disease eats a gluten-containing food, that person's immune system mistakes the gluten proteins as foreign invaders and produces an inflammatory response in the small intestine. The inflammation causes the intestinal villi, which are the finger-like projections responsible for nutrient absorption, to become flattened, thereby greatly reducing absorption of nutrients from foods. So, as you can see, a multitude of health problems can result from this. Celiac disease is also known as sprue, non-tropical sprue, and also gluten sensitivity enteropathy. Individuals with celiac disease must eat a gluten-free diet to recover from this, and there also is something called non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and that actually differs from celiac disease in that the flattening of the intestinal villi does not occur in non-celiac gluten sensitivity. However, the non-celiac form can still have many unpleasant manifestations. Celiac disease is thought to affect less than 1% of the American population, whereas gluten sensitivity has been estimated to affect as much as 35% or more. So, individuals with gluten sensitivity need to adhere to a gluten-free diet, and while there is the possibility of overcoming non-celiac gluten sensitivity, celiac disease is considered a permanent condition requiring maintenance of a gluten-free diet for life. The treatment of celiac disease and gluten sensitivity is actually the same. What are the symptoms of gluten intolerance? Many symptoms of gluten intolerance are related to malabsorption. This also can include diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain, flatulence, distended abdomen, and a greasy, foul-smelling stool that can result from food not being absorbed into the small intestine and instead being fermented by colon bacteria. However, not everyone with gluten intolerance suffers these same intestinal symptoms. Other manifestations of malabsorption can be anemia, which of course is the poor absorption of iron, osteoporosis, which is poor mineral and vitamin absorption, which manifests in the bones, of course, weight loss or even weight gain, but also fatigue, depression, and an itchy skin rash called dermatitis. And also there's at least one type of epilepsy that's also linked to celiac disease. In addition to poor absorption, people reactive to gluten may also have gut hyperpermeability, which is much better known as leaky gut. It's unclear whether gluten is the cause of hyperpermeability or whether hyperpermeability is what causes the gluten intolerance. In gut hyperpermeability or leaky gut syndrome, large molecules, which would be molecules that would normally be excluded from the blood by the intestinal mucosa, enter the bloodstream. These can create an overwhelming load on the liver's detoxification and capability and can result in many forms of illness like headaches, joint pain, muscle pain, skin problems, mental illness, cognitive issues, and also autoimmune diseases. Things like type 1 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's disease, and lupus. New research is actually finding that issues related to digestion and absorption are only the tip of the gluten sensitivity iceberg. In fact, it's estimated that for every person diagnosed with celiac disease, there are at least 8 undiagnosed celiacs that show no signs of digestive issues. So far, gluten has been linked to at least 55 different diseases, and for the majority of those with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, damage to the brain, heart, skin, respiratory tract, or the joints is more likely than outright digestive issues. Completely eliminating gluten from the diet is a great step for those suffering from symptoms with unknown causes. So we're going to get into a lot more about what celiac disease is and what you can do about it, but for now, try to eliminate as much gluten as possible from your diet. There's lots of gluten-free options out there, which makes it much easier than in past years. And also taking a gluten-digesting enzyme, specifically an enzyme high in protease, which is the protein digesting enzyme, or even the DPP4 enzyme blend, which is specific for gluten, would really help at breaking down any gluten in your meal that you're eating. But also, if you have any gluten in your bloodstream, you want to take that enzyme on an empty stomach so it can enter the bloodstream and break down any bit parts of gluten that might be causing inflammation in the bloodstream. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Carter, and I'll see you next time on ENZYMENTAL. Stay healthy.